family from immigrants. We didn't know much about anything. You know, you come over to the country, my mom's like, doctor, lawyer, do it. You know, and it's like, oh, what does that really mean? You know, so I think the information that I would like to provide is not the only way to get into med school. It's not the only way to get into dental school. I think it's a lot of hard work. I think I have a pretty good idea of how I did it, and I think it's pretty good, but I'll tell you this, I am one of the many that gets into med school and has completely different career paths, okay? So we're gonna do our best to try to tell you at least what it encompasses, what it means to be a doctor, a dentist, and try to answer a lot of these questions over here. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. I think the more you ask, the better it is. At least you get to learn the most out of it, okay? So I want to put this out there. Initially, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. In Forest Hills High School, there's a law program. I did the law program very successfully, won a bunch of medals, awards, but then I realized that just wasn't for me. What I want you guys to get out of that is that what I got out of it. You know, I got out of it that I did law, I saw what it was, I experienced it, and it just wasn't for me. It was for Frances, and she loves it. You know what I mean? So the one thing I could say high school really helped me with is expanding my knowledge about every different field.
They let me keep it. So I was lucky, and my first day in chemistry class, we were told to draw an atom, and I had to cheat off of somebody because I didn't know what an atom looked like. So my whole entire time in college, I worked overdrive for everything. I went to every teacher's after hours. I did everything that I possibly could, and that's what got me to where I am now. So you can, you can change your path, and you can, as long as you work really hard and you like what you're doing, then you really can still get to where you want to get to. And also for dental school, just quick thing, you don't need biochemistry to even apply to some dental schools. Some require it, some don't. I took one semester towards the end, but that's basically the only difference between the classes that you need. You also don't need calculus the full year. You do need physics to get in, but it's not on the exam. Everything else is pretty much the same. You also don't need research.
The other things to add about dental school, the residency afterwards, there's still like orthodontics.
Yeah, you could do specialties, which are usually like 2 to 3 years long.
And then there's like one field in dentistry that you become graduating. I just graduated, she'll graduate Monday, so we're basically almost there. She'll be doing her general dentistry residency at Queens, near Presbyterian in Queens, and I'll be doing it at LIJ out in Long Valley. So, let's begin. I kind of want to answer all these questions. Any questions for a fellowship after residency? That means you become even more specialized in that field. And for example, for me, I want to do oncology, so that's another 3 to 4 years. So you add that up after high school, 4 to 5 to 6 years of undergrad, 4, 5, or maybe 8 years of medical school, 4, anywhere from the lowest one is 3 years to 8 years of post-medicine medical school work until you get that full pay, right? That dream pay. So that's why it should not, the money should never be in your mind. Money helps, I get that. I'm not trying to act like, oh, I'm gonna be the savior of the world. I really want to help my patients, but you gotta understand that you're not getting those big bucks that everyone dreams about until maybe you're like 35, 40, okay? For me, ideally, if I'll finish at 31, that's great, but again, for me, the goal is really, I want to make sure you guys really want to help the people around you, because that's the biggest message here.
And just because you were in a standard route, I want to just quickly go over it. So 18, so you did high school normal.
Right.
18 to 22, college.
Right.
20, keep going with me.
22 to 25, I'll be 26 this year. I finished med school. Another 4 years of OBGYN, I'll be 29, 28. Matters when I graduate. Then another 3 years, I'll be 31 of fellowship.
Done. Okay.
Done. Right? Wow. Right?
I have a question about the residency and the pay, and I don't want you to go into too detail, but I did just yesterday happen to hear a segment on NPR about a resident in San Francisco who was on Medicaid, and she couldn't afford some of the drugs she had to take, and she was making less than some of the people she was treating in the clinic. So now is that, just is that?
Yeah. So I mean, the average pay for a resident is anywhere between $50,000 to $72,000 per year. Okay, and then, like I'll tell you, for LIJ, we have to add an additional money out of our salary for the health insurance. Okay, so it all adds on to that, yes.
After MBBS, you
Yes, so you do MD, PhD, and then you choose the residency of your field. So you could continue doing the research, but if you want to do research in like neurosurgery or neurology or whatever it is, you'd have to do a residency there and then kind of move on after that residency. So you still have to do residency afterwards. You don't have to. A lot of people do. Definitely do that.
Family medicine, 2 years? 3 years. So just a family doctor?
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, and then, like I'll tell you for LIJ, we have to add an additional money out of our salary for the health insurance. Okay, so it all adds on to it, yes. Medicine, surgery, you're doing OBGYN, you're doing dermatology if you want, like you're doing it actually in the hospitals working. The first 2 years for me were probably the hardest 2 years. So I did not work at all. The worst thing I did was I stopped going to the gym and stopped taking care of myself and thought med school was life. And that's the worst thing you could possibly do, okay? I think for everyone here that you need to take care of yourself first because you actually do a lot better in everything else in life if you take care of yourself first. But don't fail out of med school, so you gotta find the balance, okay? But it was tough. The hardest part for me was also I moved to Buffalo. I had no family there, so it's hard, it's a lot of work. Take care of yourself, go to the gym, whatever it is, sing, I don't know. Really, it's tough. The third and fourth year for me were fantastic because I need communication. So for me, when I started talking with patients, going out there, connecting medicine to actual real life things, because you could read a book all you want about, like, let's say heart failure. You could read it, oh, it sucks, and blah, blah, blah. But when you see patients experiencing it and how you can help them and how each patient differs, that really tied it all up for me. And it reflected, because you take 2 exams and it's like the MCAT for medical school is like the SAT for colleges. Step 1 will determine if you are competitive enough to get into the residency of your choice. So we'll go back to this MDDO. If you want to do orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, or dermatology, it's not that, one, they are the highest paying fields, which they are. It's also they have the least amount of residency spots per year, which makes them highest paid, lowest spots, most competitive. Okay? So now you take my field, OBGYN. It's a middle tier field. You could have MDs, DOs, IMGs get into it, but then it also matters which hospital you get into. There are
Dr. Daniil Khatov. Dr. Kweller Prep. Dr. Andrew